Hello and welcome to the NASPA New Professionals and Graduate Students 4 East Masterclass on Post-Conference Involvement for New Professionals and Graduate Students. Here we have the leadership team serving for Region 4 East. My name is Jamie Lewis and I'm a resident director at Miami University in Ohio. I am also the Region 4 East representative for New Professionals and Graduate Students.
Hello, I'm Janelle Love. I'm a residence director at Northwestern University, and I am the GAP coordinator for the KC.
Hello, everyone. My name is Derek Robinson. I am a graduate student at Indiana State University, and I am the community coordinator outreach for the KC.
Hi, everyone. My name is Javanto. I'm the graduate assistant for Student Senate at Ohio University. And I also serve as the communication coordinator for our regional KC.
And this leadership team is what makes the magic happen. So today we're going to spend about 45 minutes talking to you as a new professional or graduate student on ways to get involved post-conference. So luckily this is 2016 and we've just ended our NASPA National Conference in Indianapolis. And so this is a great time to say, how do we utilize those business cards? How do we get access to volunteer opportunities? And mostly, how do we maintain those connections with others? So we're going to take some time and tell you a little bit about our stories, and then hopefully you have some questions as you see this recorded prompt. So my name is Jamie, and I got involved with NASPA my first year of graduate school. I went to the NASPA Symposium, which is a pre-conference that exists before the actual conference starts. And it was focused on new professionals and graduate students, and it was a small cohort-based program for the full day, about a 9 to 4, where it was hosted by new professionals and graduate students for new professionals and graduate students. And I sat in that day focused on campus culture and climate, and I met Cherie Myers-Williamson, who at that time was the Region 4 East New Professionals and Graduate Students representative for the knowledge community. And I met her, and she talked about the work that she was doing, and I talked about wanting to get involved in grad school and where to find my space. And from there, we traded contact information, and we got involved. And I served on her leadership team for 3 years, and then I was moved up to be the co-rep, serving with her at that time. And we served in that time for about a year together as co-representatives. We brought in socials, so meetup socials that we've been hosting now since 2014, and we have been hosting our master classes like this, which are our webinar-based series, and we've been very blessed and fortunate to develop a leadership team that is very strong and makes amazing things happen within the region that's recognized, so I'm very excited about that. So that's a little bit about my story, is really just maintaining the connections and doing things that you love. I've been able to stay involved with the KC and then move in different areas of involvement just because I enjoy working with new professionals and graduate students. So.
All right, I guess it's my turn. My name is Derek Robinson once again, and how I got involved with NASPA, this is my second year in graduate school, so I'm finishing up in May. I'm excited about that. I really was involved in undergrad. I was a NUS, and I really had really good connections, and I had a really good experience with it, and I knew that NASPA was my home, my support system outside of my home institution. So I figured I would come into graduate school, have a new outlook, and I still wanted to be really involved. So I actually met Cherie Williamson as well, and she really helped me get involved as a first-year graduate student on the KC, and we developed a lot of new initiatives, such as the master class. So I was lucky enough to be a part of that initiative. A lot of experience as a first-year graduate student, and I think for me it really opened a lot of doors and opened my perspective on how to be involved and what it means to have leadership roles as a graduate student. I had a lot of great experiences with the master classes, working with student affairs professionals all across the country and talking about topics such as the PhD program, or am I interested in going into a PhD program, or any other graduate students. So yeah, I really love the work that we did, and now I am the community outreach coordinator, and I think even outside of my graduate school experience, I would like to continue, and it's a great opportunity to do so. So great way to have support systems outside of your home institution and grow professionally and personally. So that's me.
So similarly to Derek, I'll kind of start by sharing my experiences, very much rooted in my undergraduate career, but unfortunately I was not with the NASPA family at that point yet, but I began kind of my professional association exploration with NACA, the National Association for Campus Activities. And I got very involved through my programming board with that organization throughout undergrad and my early professional career, both at the regional and national levels, and had some wonderful developmentally stimulating experiences volunteering and serving on the planning teams for those committees and conferences. And so I knew as I was entering graduate school that I wanted to kind of expand my horizons into other areas of the field, but continue that strong involvement with the professional associations that I've learned meant so much to me kind of during my undergraduate career. So I jumped in with this knowledge community for all the obvious reasons. It kind of fits. I actually found this particular opportunity on Volunteer Central, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. And I jumped in with this fantastic team, and I've been welcomed with open arms and look forward to continue to grow my involvement with the association from here.
Okay, hello. Again, I'm Janelle. I am currently a residence director, and so many times people feel that your home for your national or organization should be housing if you're in housing. I've always known that NASPA has been my professional home and has been something I've been very excited to participate in. So when I was in graduate school, I was the NASPA GAP for Illinois State during my time there. I served in that position for a year. It's actually how I kind of met Jamie, and it's in the role that I work with currently. And so through that opportunity, I was able to get involved with NASPA as an organization. While I was in graduate school, I co-presented a presentation with people in my cohort and my professor, and that was at a regional conference. And so from that experience, I've continued to grow from either helping to co-present presentations or get involved with different KCs. So as I've continued along my professional journey, I had the opportunity to connect with the Student Leadership KC, and that was through a KC involvement fair, which we'll talk about later. And I connected with that regional KC leadership team and talked about, hey, how can I get involved? They wanted to do a drive-in conference in Chicago. I live just north of Chicago, and I was like, I can help with that. And I was on the planning committee for that conference last spring, I think it was last spring. And it was awesome, and it was a great way to get connected with people from all over the region. And from my involvement with that and other areas of NASPA, I actually got shoulder tapped by Jamie and Cherie to serve in this position as the GAP coordinator for our KC. And so it's been a great opportunity to show the work that you can do and have people see what you're capable of doing, and then have them believe that you can contribute in other means. I recently was appointed as the AAKC rep, the African American Knowledge Community rep, co-representative for Region 4 East. So you can continue to be involved in many different KCs, but this is one where I've definitely started to find my way. So a little bit about my story, and thank you so much for joining us today to talk about how you can continue your leadership involvement through KCs or through NASPA, period. So some of the things that we're going to talk about when it comes to the post-conference piece is how do you maintain those connections? We've talked about involvement fairs, we've talked about Volunteer Central. How are you networking? How do you use those business cards? How do you make sure that you didn't just go to this conference just to go, and that you're actually taking something away from it and using that material and moving forward? So one of the ways that I tend to do that is I go back through my conference booklet. I'm the person who always kills trees, I'm sorry, but I like the tangible program booklet, and I go through and I make sure that I look at the presentations that I attended. Which ones did I give my business cards to, or which presenters have sent me their presentation already, and I'm continuing to follow up with those individuals to say, hey, thank you so much for this presentation. This is what I learned. This is what I would love if you could send me more information about. You have to be strategic going into your conference and know what aspects you're trying to build within your own profile. So if you know for sure you want to work with leadership programs, go to those presentations that are about leadership programs and make those connections with professionals across the country or across your region to make sure that you're benefiting from the material and you're not just kind of like a hodgepodge of conference attendance. The other piece that I tend to do is make sure that the materials that I have, I'm actually pulling things out and I'm providing that back to my department. So depending on how your professional development is set up, you may be required to bring something back to your institution. You may be required to share a presentation or share learning outcomes or different points, and that's something that's really important to do, even if that's not a requirement of your attendance to a conference session or a webinar, etc. Because it shows that if your institution is willing to invest in you, you should be willing to invest back into it and be able to provide your colleagues and your students with the materials that you're learning.
Awesome. So I'll talk a little bit about once you go to the conference, how do you use those business cards? The goal sometimes is to collect as many business cards as possible, but really the most beneficial part is how you use them after. And so first, I would say make sure you collect the business cards and do so in a way that's comfortable for you. I definitely identify as an introvert, especially during conference season, so find a way to navigate that as best as possible for you. But when you get the business cards, write down on the back how you met them, when you met them, and what you would like to follow up on. That's a really important one because sometimes you can get 10 to 60 business cards depending on what your journey is like during the conference. And so you want to remember, hey, this was Matt. I need to remember how I met Matt. When did I meet him and what did I want to follow up with him on, so that you're not trying to keep all of that stored in your brain as you navigate a conference. So that's kind of tip number one. I think another thing with business cards is to make sure that you are actually following up. That's a really big thing because people will remember you, especially if you follow up. So make sure that you not only write how you met them, when you met them, but follow up and say, hey, I'm interested in this. I'm interested in serving on this planning committee, or whatever your interest lies in. Because then they'll remember you. And even if they don't shoulder tap you for that opportunity, they may shoulder tap you for another one. Business cards, they can get lost in the shuffle, so finding a way to keep up with them is very important. Even though people change institutions, you want to be able to have some type of bank. The old school Rolodex works wonders. I still have one. To keep up with those business cards is very important. And then maintain contact after conferences. Really, I would say utilize social media. Social media sometimes gets a bad rap, but in student affairs, oh my gosh, it's the most beautiful thing ever. I just started a Twitter page, so you can follow me at Louis Blanc. Shameless plug, but it really is a great way to stay in contact with other people. And people will sometimes let you know, I'm comfortable with people adding me on Facebook, or I'm comfortable with people adding me on LinkedIn or Twitter, or Instagram in some cases. I think our field has done a really good job of navigating what social media looks like in a professional sense. So definitely utilize that to stay in touch with people. But most importantly, provide the what, if you're contacting them, what for, so that they can know this person is interested in this, and I want to be able to support this person with this, so that it'll help that person remember who you are and what you're about. And then and I think another good way to maintain contact is really the follow-up, but the follow-up after what is important, always. One of the things that I'm blessed to be a part of attending for the last couple of years was the regional business meetings. And so when you go to any conference, they'll have a regional business meeting, and our region is 4 East, and in that meeting, they'll talk about a range of things. They'll talk about things from the budget to membership and what that looks like across the region, to new initiatives, a strategic plan led by our regional director. And that's an opportunity also to see what else is going on in the KC that's new. So at this past one, at our national conference, we got to learn about the 2017 regional conference. So 2016 is in the works. I hope to see you in St. Louis in November. But we got to learn about, we got to learn about 2017. And so we have some amazing professionals who will be leading that committee. And so if you're interested in being on the planning team, you can shoulder tap that person and say, hey, here's my card. I just wanted to send you my information to let you know that I'm interested in being a part of this committee. You'll also learn about the great things that are happening in our KC. Shout out to Region 4 East new professionals and grad students. And you'll get to meet other people in leadership areas that you can follow up with to getting more involved. So that's a great space. Usually there are anywhere from 50 to 100 people in that space, but it's a good space too, where we welcome new people. Everyone gets an introduction of who you are, what institution you're at, and so you can definitely network in those spaces. So I would recommend always attending those regional business meetings. They will be denoted as open or closed, and typically they're open meetings that you can attend as a general member as well.
All right, I guess it's on me. So I'm going to talk about knowledge communities, and this is an exciting way to get involved, and it's a safe space for a lot of student affairs professionals and what they're interested in. We have over 30 knowledge communities, various knowledge communities. I'm going to actually share my screen so you all can see the different knowledge communities. So let me share this real quick. Okay. So this is the NASPA national website, and we have over 30 knowledge communities, so such as the African American knowledge community, the administrators and graduate and professional student services, Asian Pacific Islanders, assessment, evaluation and research, campus safety and violence, disability knowledge community. So really there's various knowledge communities where if you're interested in a subject, or there's actually an undocumented knowledge community that we just established, and I think if you wanted to have more investment, or if you're doing research, like this actually would be a great knowledge community that I can be invested in, because my capstone is currently on undocumented students. So that would be a great resource for anyone who wanted to find out about how can I get involved with this subject area or that matter. So yeah, definitely a great way to have various knowledge communities in the area, and you can join more than one. It's not just, hey, I just have to do the new professional and graduate students for East knowledge community. You can join multiple, and make sure that you get on their email list and you can find the updates, and you want this to be on your profile, because I think a lot of people forget on their national membership they don't have all the knowledge communities that they're involved with. So when you do have it involved, you'll know which ones that you are attached with when you go to a national or regional conference. So let me stop sharing this and get back to the screen. Okay. Okay, so there I am. Okay, so yes. So with that, being involved in knowledge communities, what is the level of dedication, or if you want to be on a leadership role for the knowledge communities, what do you need to do? You definitely want to make sure that you contact those people in the leadership roles, or make sure that you are interested. You're going to have to be very intentional of what you need to do. So saying like, hey, this is my current situation, this is how many hours I can invest in this. But most of the time the leadership communities or the leadership team will let you know exactly what they need in order for you to be successful in that role, and if you fit the role, they should be more than willing to let you have a position or be involved in that knowledge community. The level of dedication required for signing up for a KC will probably be various for different knowledge communities, but usually it's 4 to 6 hours, or more than that. It just depends on the role. So, and leadership opportunities, using conference connections to remain involved with the KC. I think this is definitely important. My personal experiences, me being involved in the new professional and graduate student for East KC has opened many doors for me. I did a Cool Y internship at UC Berkeley, and then professionally outside of the KC, I write for the Student Affairs Collective blog, and a lot of these connections or folks that I have invested in, even with Javanto or Jamie, I see a lot of the same familiar leadership faces. So it really does help you get to know the, I guess, key players in student affairs and also just expand your network. So I would just suggest that, you know, be willing to try something new. If you're introverted, just, you know, try to do the best that you can. And if you're extroverted, just say, hey, I want to get involved. Closed mouths don't get fed, so you definitely have to just be willing to say, hey, I'm interested in this and I want to see if this will be a good fit. And usually a lot of the KCs are more than willing to help you or find a way that you can get involved in the community. So yeah, I think that's really all I have for the KC part. So I'll let Javanto get to his section. So.
Perfect. So segueing from what Derek shared with us earlier, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see the NASPA page here and specifically how to join the KC, because it's just as important that you get plugged in with our email list and add that to your profile as it is that you attend the events and join the conversation that way. So if you're on the NASPA home screen, you're going to see over here along the top bar there's a tab called Constituent Groups. If you click that, you can go in and see the see the screen that Derek was just showing, and you can see all of the knowledge communities as well as the divisions as well as the regions. So assuming that you want to join the new professional and graduate student knowledge community, you'd go ahead and click on into that one. And this green button here would say, you know, add membership if you weren't already a member. And so that's the way to jump in on the actual portal as far as our NASPA website is concerned. Along those lines, you want to make sure that while you're in our region, you jump onto your Facebook page and join our conversation at NASPA NPGS IV-E. That'll bring you to the public group where we have kind of the conversation up and going. And then also on Twitter, you can see the National Knowledge Community at NPGS_KC. So those are kind of the ways to plug in digitally with the knowledge community and all of the different opportunities that are there. But I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about a couple of different opportunities. So I mentioned that I decided to jump in as a first-year grad student, and I actually didn't know anybody on the leadership team or in the KC when I decided to do that, which, as you heard from our stories, was kind of unique. And so the place that I found that opportunity is on the Volunteer Central. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again so you know where to find Volunteer Central. And I'll kind of talk through a little bit about what the opportunities are there. So here's what Volunteer Central looks like. Again, if you're on the home screen, you can go under this little down caret in the top right corner and click Engagement Portal. That's going to bring you That's going to bring you to this this page here, and you can see the Volunteer Central button right at the top there. If you click into that, you can update your interests. So you can see I have tagged here the numerous different areas that I'm interested in. And if you scroll down and make sure that those are all updated, you can actually go in and see specific opportunities by division, by knowledge community, by region that may be of interest to you. And so that's how I found this opportunity, and I've kind of grown into the leadership team here with the KC, which has been a fantastic experience. Utilizing that, as with anything in grad school and in life, it's kind of a design your own adventure experience. So I could very easily spend the vast majority of all of my days on work for the KC, and we would do fantastic work for that whole time. with the knowledge that I'm a graduate student and I have an assistantship here on campus. Obviously, that's not a reality, but we're able to kind of balance that and work with the team to make the most of all of those different opportunities. So definitely log on into Volunteer Central, check out the portal, and all of the different opportunities that are there. I do want to specifically talk about one of the other opportunities, our GAP program. So I actually currently serve as a GAP as well. GAP stands for our Graduate Associate Program, and I just want to talk a little bit about the opportunity that is specific kind of through that program. So it's specific for graduate students, and the idea being that this person is the representative of NASPA as an organization to their individual campus. So this is kind of the liaison and the conduit for information from NASPA and all that it has to offer to the students and young professionals and faculty and old professionals, or senior professionals rather, that are on your local campus. And that's kind of the major thrust of the program. You can, again, go on into the NASPA website and find out more about the program there, as well as kind of signing up for expressing your interest in applying for that program. But there's a series of kind of different opportunities to engage with your campus community through this program. Whether that be, sharing the NASPA information via email blasts, or encouraging people to sign up for memberships and knowledge communities and attending conferences, or actually holding events on campus. So in years previous and this year, GAPs have hosted webinar parties and written a blog post for the NASPA blog. Many of us have events during Careers in Student Affairs Month to engage not just our current students, but also undergraduate students on our campus that may be interested in pursuing a career in higher education and student affairs. Again, like Jamie mentioned earlier, hosting a social, whether that be in the region or specific to your campus, that's something that a lot of the GAPs have done. Brown bag opportunities with professionals on your campus, resume workshops and reviews, all sorts of professional development opportunities, both that we offer as a knowledge community for everyone in our region, but other things that the GAPs can do specific to their campus and the needs of those students and young professionals as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Janelle and Jamie to give us some final tips and wrap up.
Awesome job, Javanto. Yay. Thank you. Janelle and I were also GAPs, so it's very close to our heart. Some of the things that we just wanted to wrap up on was the biggest message is don't wait. If you're looking to get involved, no matter where you are in your journey, Janelle joined us as a new professional, Javanto joined us as a first-year grad, Derek did as well, and I joined as a first-year grad. And so any space that you're looking to get involved, it's never too late. Don't wait. Hopefully we see you all in November for our joint conference with Region 4 West and Region 4 East together in St. Louis. So that'll be a great fun time. Registration will open sometime in June. Call for proposals open sometime in March. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about getting involved. There are always positions for program reviewers, and Derek and Javanto did a really good job of showing you the site of how you can go and click on those opportunities and get involved. And then just make sure you use those business cards. That's the biggest way, just that follow-up. Make sure you're doing that within a week after, maybe two. Times, we could be on spring break, or if you're in any kind of housing selection process or anything, definitely focus on your job first, but make sure you follow up with those.
And then when you're thinking about going to a conference or you're following up after a conference, please make sure that you're continuing to be intentional about the conversations that you're having, the programs that you're attending, and then what you're getting out of that and how can you reproduce that information on your campus. Work with your supervisor to make sure that this is an opportunity for professional development for not only you, but for your colleagues and students as well. Ask questions about how to get involved. If you're still not sure on what you should be doing, I know we provided a variety of ways to do it. Please reach out to any of us and ask us, like, hey, how did you get involved? Who do I connect with this KC or this presentation or this conference, etc. And we'll be able to get you connected in whichever way you want to get involved or what involvement should look like for you. As Derek mentioned, you can put as many hours as you want, and Javonta mentioned this as well. Like, it just depends on what you can actually commit to. That involvement's going to vary from during the conference to helping during being a volunteer during the conference, attending socials, joining a KC, attending the business meeting, as Jamie mentioned, presenting a session. That's a huge opportunity to get involved with conferences, and it gets you connected in so many different ways, and it allows you to really be a part of that institutional learning for everyone else there. And then also make sure that you have a good time and that it's something that you really want to do. It's not just about resume building. It looks great on your resume, but you truly have to be invested in the work that you're producing for the KC. So, yeah.
So thank you all for tuning in and watching. Hopefully you've gotten something new out of this masterclass. Our goal is to always present new information for new professionals and graduate students by new professionals and graduate students. And like we've shared and hopefully you've heard many times before, NASPA truly is its members. So make sure that you're getting involved and active in a way that's best for you. If you're ever thinking about getting involved with us, you can reach out to us through our email or our Facebook page, as Javonta showed us. Our email is NPGS, the number 4, the letter E, @gmail.com. And so you can email us and say, hey, I saw this information and we're looking to get involved and we would love to have you. Some of the things that we're looking for right now are some brand ambassadors. We're looking for folks who would like to share content on our Facebook page. We're looking for people who would like to write blogs on their experiences, whether in the job and as they're facing transitions or at conferences, post-conferences. We're also looking for membership spotlights. Great initiative that Derek started. And so we are actually going to be highlighting our first one on the following Monday. And so we are looking for people who would like to recognize the great work that's happening in our region with new professionals and graduate students. And so, yeah, if you have any more information, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, thanks for watching.